Numbers chapter 30, the Midianite War. God spoke to Moses, "Avenge the people of Israel on the Midianites. Afterwards, you will go to be with your dead ancestors." Moses addressed the people. "Recruit men for a campaign against Midian to exact God's vengeance on Midian, 1,000 from each tribe of Israel to go to war. A fighting force of 1,000 from each tribe of Israel, 12,000 in all, was recruited. Moses sent them off to war, 1,000 from each tribe, and also Phinehas, son of Eleazar, who went as a priest to the army, in charge of holy vessels and the signaling bugles. They attacked Midian just as God had commanded Moses, and they killed every last man. Among the fallen were Evi, Rakem, Zur, Hur, and Reba, the 5 kings of Midian. They also killed Balaam, son of Beor, with the sword. The people of Israel took the Midianite women and children captive, and they took all their animals and herds and their goods as plunder. They burned to the ground all of the towns in which Midianites lived, and also their tent camps. They looted and plundered everything and everyone, stuff and people and animals. They took it all, captives and booty and plunder, back to Moses and Eleazar the priest and the company of Israel, where they were camped on the plains of Moab at Jordan Jericho. Moses, Eleazar, and all the leaders of the congregation went to meet the returning army outside of the camp. Moses was furious with the army officers, the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, as they came back from the battlefield. "What's this? You've let these women live? They're the ones who, under Balaam's direction, seduced the people of Israel away from God in that mess at Peor, causing the plague that hit God's people. Finish your job. Kill all the boys. Kill every woman who has slept with a man. The younger women who are virgins, you can keep alive for yourselves. Now, here's what you are to do. Pitch tents outside the camp. All who have killed anyone or touched a corpse must stay outside the camp for 7 days. Purify yourselves and your captives on the 3rd and the 7th days. Purify every piece of clothing and every utensil, everything made of leather, goat hair, or wood." Eleazar the priest then spoke to the soldiers who had fought in the battle. "This is the ruling from the revelation that God gave Moses. Gold, silver, iron, tin, and lead, and anything else that can survive fire must be passed through the fire. Then it will be ritually purified. It must also be ritually washed in the water of cleansing. Further, whatever cannot survive fire must be put through that water. On the 7th day, scrub your clothes. You will be ritually clean. Then you can return to the camp." God said to Moses, "I want you and Eleazar the priest and the family leaders in the community to count the captives, animals, and people. Split the plunder between the soldiers who fought the battle and the rest of the congregation. Then tax the booty that goes to the soldiers at the rate of 1 life out of 500, whether human, cattle, donkeys, or sheep. It's a God tax, taken from their half share to be turned over to Eleazar the priest on behalf of God. Tax the congregation's half share at the rate of 1 life out of 50, whether persons, cattle, donkeys, sheep, goats, or other animals. Give this to the Levites who are in charge of the care of God's dwelling. Moses and Eleazar followed through with what God had commanded Moses. The rest of the plunder taken by the army was 675,000 sheep, 72,000 cattle, 61,000 donkeys, 32,000 women who were virgins. The half share for those who had fought in the war was 337,500 sheep with a tax of 675 for God, 36,000 cattle with a tax of 72 for God, 30,500 donkeys with a tax of 61 for God, 16,000 people with a tax of 32 for God. Moses turned the tax over to Eleazar the priest as God's part, following God's instructions to Moses. The other half share for the Israelite community that Moses set apart from what was given to the men who fought the war was 337,500 sheep, 36,000 cattle, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 people. From the half share going to the people of Israel, Moses, just as God had instructed him, picked one out of every 50 persons and animals and gave them to the Levites who were in charge of maintaining God's dwelling. The military officers, commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, came to Moses and said, "We have counted the soldiers under our command, and not a man is missing. We've brought offerings to God from gold jewelry that we got, armless bracelets, rings, earrings, and ornaments to make atonement for our lives before God." Moses and Eleazar the priest received the gold from them, all of that fine crafted jewelry. In total, the gold from the commanders of thousands and hundreds that Moses and Eleazar offered as a gift to God, it weighed about 600 pounds, all donated by the soldiers who had taken the booty. Moses and Eleazar took the gold from the commanders of thousands and hundreds, and they brought it to the tent of meeting to serve as a reminder for the people of Israel before God.